Hello friends. So NDA government on Monday nullified the Article 370 of the Constitution that grants special status to Jammu and Kashmir. The Home Minister Amit Shah moved the resolution in the Rajya Sabha stating that all clauses of Article 370 will now no longer be applicable in the state. Minister also informed that the President Ramnath Kovind has signed the official notification that bifurcates the states into two. Amit Shah also moved a separate bill to bifurcate the state into two union territories, one of them the Jammu and Kashmir and the other the state of Ladakh. Today we will look at the sequence of events that led to this unprecedented and significant event taken by the government and the implication of ending Article 370 for Jammu and Kashmir. How it changes the administrative setup of the state and what it means for its people. So Jammu and Kashmir will now no longer enjoy its special status and all provisions for the Indian Constitution will be applicable to the state from now on. The government has proposed that Jammu and Kashmir as a union territory with a legislature and Ladakh with a union territory without legislature. So the President Ramnath Kovind promulgated the Constitutional Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 2019 that states the provisions of Indian Constitution will now be applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. So the order came which into force immediately supersedes the Constitutional Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 1954. Now for this purpose, Clause 4 has been added to Article 367 which includes the four changes. So number one, the references to the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir will now be made as references to Constitution of India. Then the references to the Sadr-e Riyasat of Jammu and Kashmir shall now be construed as references to the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. References to the government shall be construed as including references to the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir acting on the advice of his Council of Ministers. An expression Constitution Assembly of the state shall now be read as the Legislative Assembly of the state. So these are the four changes that had been made to the Article 367. Now these expressions which have changed, so it will lead to changes in the polity of Jammu and Kashmir. So before Article 370, the Article 370 used to give the power to the Jammu and Kashmir that the government cannot make any law. The central government cannot make any law without the concurrence of the state government. So it required the state government's concurrence to apply laws onto your state government, that is Jammu and Kashmir. So the RTI law is not automatically applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. You require the permission of the state to pass it. Similarly, now as Article 370 as per the government stands abolished and Article 35A also stands abolished in the sense that Article 370 Clause 1, the President has abolished Article 370 giving special autonomous status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So abrogation of 370 that granted Jammu and Kashmir a special autonomous status will now mean that the constitution provisions applicable to other Indian states will also be applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. On the Article 370, central government needed the state government's concurrence to apply the laws except these areas, the areas of defense, foreign affairs, finance and communication. It provided a separate set of laws for people of Jammu and Kashmir, including those related to citizenship, ownership of property and fundamental rights. As a result of this, Indian citizens from the other states are not allowed to purchase land or property in Jammu and Kashmir. So the center had no power to declare Also, the center had no power to declare financial emergency under Article 360 in Jammu and Kashmir. Further, the center has no power to declare financial emergency on the grounds of Article 360 except in cases of war or external aggression. Besides, Jammu and Kashmir was the only state in India to have its own constitution. Article 370 is a temporary but a special status given to Jammu and Kashmir state. So, when Raja Hari Singh, he was a king of Kashmir, a Muslim majority state ruled by a Hindu ruler, he agreed to accede to India along with Muhammad Abdullah, the Sheikh Abdullah, and Nehru. Later in 1949, all of them agreed to give a special status to Jammu and Kashmir, and Article 370 was inserted. This special status that except for four subjects, that is defense, communication, external affairs and finance, on all other subjects, the government of India has to consult the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly to pass a law. Now Jammu and Kashmir has a separate constitution, and the Constitution of India's provisions do not automatically apply there. So that was a special status given to Jammu and Kashmir, but it was a temporary provision. So revocation of Article 370 means citizens across India will have just one citizenship prevalent in all the states of the country. Currently you have two citizenships which a person of Jammu and Kashmir is getting. So after this there will be a uniform citizenship, only one citizenship of India. People from anywhere in India will be able to buy property and permanently settle in Jammu and Kashmir, which was earlier not possible. The fundamental rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir will be the same as the citizens of other states. The state will be governed by laws applicable to the rest of the country. Currently, the IPC code does not implement as it implements in Karnataka to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So, after this, there will be a uniformity in the application of laws in India. By declaring it a union territory, the union government will now be in control of internal as well as external security. Hence, will be in a better position to combat terrorism and bringing out the youth of Jammu and Kashmir to the mainstream so that they have a better chance of growth and success. At the end of the day, terrorism is not about religion, it's not about caste, color or creed, but it's about money and finances and shared economy. And that is why terrorism does not want the economy of the state to grow. By helping the economy of a state to grow, you will be helping the Kashmiris, the youth of the Jammu to grow, which is important, which is the need of the hour. In addition to making Article 370 ineffective, the union government has also moved the bill proposing the bifurcation of the state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. The situation for the state of Ladakh has been decided to divide Ladakh from Jammu and Kashmir and to make two different union territories. As you are aware that there is the difference between statehood and union territory. Union territories are not the state in the limited purpose of the federal system of India. And the union territories comes great under the powers of the central government. Under the constitution, there are three schedules or the list, schedule 1, 2 and 3 under article 246. So certain powers are enjoyed by the central government, certain powers are enjoyed by the state governments, and there are certain powers that are listed in the concurrent list which are enjoyed by both the center and the state government. But when it is the case of union territories, all the powers are enjoyed by the union government. So this will be the case of Jammu and Kashmir after it becomes a union territory, that the central government will get more powers when running the administration of the Jammu and Kashmir. So this will help in the security and stability of the region. Jammu and Kashmir will be the union territory with legislature like Delhi and Pondicherry, whereas Ladakh will be a union territory without any legislature like your Chandigarh. Home Minister brought out two legislations on Monday to remove Article 370 and Article 35A in the Constitution, which provided special status to Jammu and Kashmir. Also, Home Minister introduced the J&K Reservation Second Amendment Bill 2019, which proposes reservation for economically weaker sections in the state. Shah said that the bill will help provide economically weaker section category 10% reservation in educational institutes as well as government jobs. This reservation will decide the reservation for SC, ST and OBCs. Apart from Article 370, Article 350A also gives special status to citizens of Jammu and Kashmir. This has also been revoked now. So Article 35A allowed the state legislature to define the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. So the article had been inserted by a constitutional order by the then President Rajendra Prasad on the then advice of Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. So let us now understand the particular aspect of the Constitution in detail regarding Article 35 Clause A of the Constitution. And the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir has some special rights according to this particular section of the article. Now Article 35 Clause A gives the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly the right to decide the definition of permanent residents of the state and prevent the people of the state or the people of the other states in India from buying real estate in Jammu and Kashmir. So this has led that many people who have come from outside and are living in the state for the last several decades, a lot of Punjabis have been settling around the areas of Jammu, so they have been denied any sort of rights in the state. Article 35A was given under presidential ordinance and not under the constitutional amendment bill which is passed by the parliament under Article 368 in 1954. Therefore, Article 35 Clause A, which defines a permanent resident of J&K as who will be the permanent resident of J&K, and only the permanent residents of J&K can purchase property in Jammu and Kashmir and stay there permanently. No non-permanent resident can purchase property, settle there or get aid from the government. The women of J&K, if they marry an outsider, their children don't get the status of permanent resident, but a man who is married outside, his children will continue to get the status of permanent resident status, which is a discrimination between a man and a woman as pointed out by the Supreme Court itself. So Article 35A, according to the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, you can see in the slide, a permanent resident of the state is defined as a person who was a state subject on 14th of May 1954 or who has been residing in the state for a period of 10 years from the date, or who has lawfully acquired immovable property in the state. So this is the condition to be a permanent resident of Jammu and Kashmir, or has migrated from the state after March 1st, 1947 and has gone with the present Pakistani border area but has come back with resettlement permit in the state. So such persons will also be considered, and citizen of any other state can neither buy property in Jammu and Kashmir nor can they become permanent residents. So according to the notice issued by Raja Hari Singh in 1927 and 32, it states that a permanent citizen of J&K can be one who was born in the state in 1911 or before and has been living there since then, and also those who have legally purchased property in the state. Now, according to Article 35A, a person outside Jammu and Kashmir cannot buy an immovable property in the state. Also, a person from another state cannot become a citizen of Jammu and Kashmir. Article 35A states that if a girl from Jammu and Kashmir marries an outsider, then she will lose all her rights. But in 2002, the Jammu Kashmir High Court issued an order saying, in such cases, a girl's right will continue for life. Okay. However, as per the Article 35A, refugees from West Pakistan are still being deprived of the fundamental rights and identity in the state. There are a lot of refugees which have come from the West Pakistan and they are living in the Kashmir's valley, and they have been deprived this right of a normal citizen in the state. People living in Jammu and Kashmir who don't have a permanent residence certificate can vote in the Lok Sabha elections, but they cannot vote in the local bodies and in the assembly elections. The Article 370, the state of Jammu and Kashmir has been given the special autonomous statehood, which meant that they are part of India, but they are not complete part of India. The laws of India will not be applicable in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So therefore, the benefit of central government schemes will not go to the state of Jammu and Kashmir also. So the government cannot pass an order without it being ratified by the state assembly for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The benefits given and the changes made even by the Honorable Supreme Court will not be applicable upon the state of Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, Article 35 implies that the state government has a right under this article to give and abstain privileges to people who migrated there during independence and other Indian nationals in Jammu and Kashmir. So state governments has the power to give the rights and even to abstain the privileges. The Kashmir dispute is a legacy. So it's a legacy of the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947 under the terms by which Britain rule was brought to an end. It was up to the princely rulers to decide whether to accede to India or to Pakistan. The ruler of Jammu and Kashmir delayed signing up to either of the countries. In October 1947, when the country was invaded by the fighters, the Jammu and Kashmir, it was invaded by the fighters of the tribal areas in the northwest Pakistan. The ruler acceded to India. Now, let's try to take a relook at the accession of Jammu and Kashmir to India. Jammu and Kashmir was one among the 565 princely states of India on which British paramountcy lapsed at the stroke of midnight on 15th August 1947. Under the partition plan provided by the Indian independence, the rulers of these princely states were given an option to join either India or Pakistan. The ruler of Jammu and Kashmir, Raja Hari Singh, did not exercise the option immediately. He instead offered a proposal of a standstill agreement to both India and Pakistan, pending a final decision on the state's accession. So he did not give a decision immediately. He proposed a standstill agreement, which both the parties agreed to. But it was the Pakistan which entered into the standstill agreement but invaded Kashmir from north with an army of soldiers and tribesmen armed with modern weapons in early hours of the 24th October 1947. Thousands of tribal Pathans swept into Kashmir. Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir appealed to the Indian government for the help, and he sent his representative Sheikh Abdullah to Delhi to ask for India's help. In 1947 October, Maharaja Hari Singh fled from Srinagar and arrived in Jammu, when he signed the instrument of accession of Jammu and Kashmir state. According to the terms of this document, Indian jurisdiction would extend to external affairs, communication and defense. After the document was signed, Indian troops were airlifted to Jammu and Kashmir and fought alongside with the Kashmiris. On 5th March 1948, Maharaja Hari Singh announced the formation of an interim popular government with Sheikh Abdullah as the Prime Minister. Subsequently, Maharaja signed a proclamation making Yuvraj Karan Singh as the regent. So in 1951, the State Constituent Assembly was elected. You can see in the slides, it met for the first time in Srinagar on 31st October 1951. Close to the heels of the State Assembly coming into being, the Delhi Agreement was signed between the Prime Minister of India Jawaharlal Nehru and Jammu Kashmir, giving special position to the state under Indian constitutional framework. On 6th of February 1954, the Jammu and Kashmir Constitutional Assembly ratified the accession of the state to the Union of India. The President subsequently issued the constitutional order under Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, extending the Union Constitution to the state, with some exceptions and modifications. The state's own constitution came on 26 January 1957, under which elections to the State Legislative Assembly were held for the first time. The constitution also ratifies the state constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, also ratifies the state accession to the Union of India. Under the section 3 of the constitution, it says the Jammu and Kashmir is and shall be an integral part of Union of India. Article 370 was drafted by Sheikh Abdullah, and in the Indian constitution it was included as a temporary provision that granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. All the provisions of the constitution which are applicable to other states are not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir except for defense, foreign affairs, finance and communication. Parliament needs the state government's concurrence for applying all the laws. The state residents live under a separate laws, and including those related to citizenship and ownership of property. Due to the special provisions attached to it, Article 370 has been a subject of debate for several years. Those who are against it, they argue that it hampers the integration process of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of the country. Okay, so when you put this Kashmir into your syllabus, the Kashmir issue into a syllabus, it can be put under the post-independent Indian consolidation, that is a part of history, post-independence India. Then it can be put under the topic of Indian society, where we talk about regionalism. A lot of regions in India are going through this problem of regionalism. See, at times regionalism is good, and at times it leads to it goes against the national integrity. There are regionalisms, flavor of regionalism you can see in the Gorkhaland issue, the Nagaland issue, the Greater Nagaland. Okay, so this is one issue, and then when you look at it at a polity angle view, you have to think about it as a issue regarding federalism. See, Kashmir is an example of asymmetric federalism, where asymmetric federalism means that all the states are not equal. Okay, Kashmir enjoys certain powers, or it has its own constitution. So this is an example of asymmetric constitutionalism. And when you look this particular issue from international relations point of view, you should look at from the bilateral issues of India and Pakistan relations. Okay, it becomes an important issue. Okay, thank you friends.